On this episode, we are back with another Main Street Magic Community Q&A, and this time, we're on the road in Orlando. Today is October 1st, 2024, and this is episode 707 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys! Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, in addition to live streams from the parks and our weekly live show, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic Community and ask to join.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Ready for your next bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI-Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
Well, we had some major change of plans now, didn't we? And this is why we are doing this fun episode today.
Yeah, we had a hurricane. Well, the hurricane was coming. And of course, we weren't sure how it was going to affect Orlando. And we already had the plans to come down on the 26th for Mickey's Not So Scary. Mm-hmm. So we had recorded a bunch of episodes ahead of time because we're going to be gone 3 Thursdays in a row, which is normal recording, and getting home late this Sunday because down in Orlando right now, actually in the Hilton Orlando Lake Buena Vista, using our little portable setup now. Mm-hmm. And I'm here for a conference, the Momentum conference with Lou Mangello this weekend. Rhonda's going to hang out and stuff with some friends around. But yeah, we're going to do the Halloween party last night, and we were going to record today with our portable system about the Halloween party to come out on Tuesday. Yeah, so we had all the plans to go to the Halloween party, of course, and then what happened?
Well, for what they thought could be for the safety of people, they canceled the party.
Yeah, I mean that was the only decision that they had to make, or should have made. I mean, Halloween Horror Nights got canceled. A lot of the extra activities, like they do the safaris and African Wild Trek and different things like that, were all canceled. So perfectly understandable. But long story short, we were refunded and I rebooked for October 10th.
Yay.
So we will be going to the Halloween party on October 10th. That obviously is even later than we were already planning, so we'll still review that. But we had to fill in something for the episode coming Tuesday. And so went out to the Main Street Magic Community on Facebook, which, of course, if you're not a part of, go ahead and go out there, search for Main Street Magic Community and ask to join. We do this about once a quarter, and we do a Q&A.
Yeah.
And we got a ton of questions, like a whole lot of questions. And so we'll break this up into 2 episodes, so that'll cover this week. While we're here right now, and like next weekend, we'll be doing a bunch of updated dining. Yeah. So we will have an episode that will update dining on Pecos Bill new menu, Jock Lindsay's, Ohana. We headed back to Grand Flow Cafe for breakfast. So you'll get all that as well.
Yes.
But let's go ahead and dive in. And this is how this episode will go is we are running around. I have this conference. It is a very busy weekend. Mm-hmm. So we don't have the time to sit down and notch out, an hour, 2 hours. So what we're going to do, kind of like we did with the 700th episode, is we'll kind of pop in and we'll answer some questions as we go about our weekend. So
yeah, because real quick on last night, we weren't stuck, which was super nice, in a hotel room.
Yes.
We were able to go to Magic Kingdom. We actually went twice. Mm-hmm. And that
was fun.
We were just prepared 100% to get drenched. We had our rain jackets and stuff, but it was very windy very windy, but it was amazing. The park
Yeah.
was very dead. We got to ride some rides and just have some fun. So
Yeah,
that's why
it
we
was-
didn't start yesterday on
Yeah.
recording.
Yep. And then we went to Ohana for an unplanned dinner pretty much with our good friend Steve, a cast member. And so, yeah, we kind of took the night off and now we're here today. But right now we're in our room at the Hilton Orlando Lake Buena Vista before we head down to Disney Springs. But let's get into it. Let's start with our first question from Alicia. Said, what rides are you hoping to see in the new Villains Land? What villains do you hope are most prominent? Which villains do you think don't belong? And she wants both mine and your responses. Right?
Ooh.
She definitely wants yours. What are you hoping to see? I mean,
Well, I look down on my arm and on my villain side, and I definitely want to see Ursula, Evil Queen, Jafar, Maleficent.
Mm-hmm.
I'd freaking love to see Oogie Boogie.
yeah,
Yzma would be amazing.
classic, right? Classic
Yeah,
Disney villains.
I mean,
I
yeah.
think is what I would like to see.
Hades would be cool.
Hades would be incredible in there, of course.
And some of these, and the reason, and I feel like I'm saying these more because, not because of just my arm, but because they have been in the parks before.
Yeah. I mean, they have plenty to base those off of with things that they've already done. You know, even when you go back, they used to have the villains party.
Yes.
You know, that they had over at Hollywood Studios. You have the Villains Lair over there, Top of the World Lounge. So they have some things to base off. And yeah, as far as the characters, I hope they keep it classic. That's hard. Like, okay, do you want Mother Gothel? Dr.
That'd be cool.
Facilier? Like, I think if we stick to like Walt Disney animation, like not go into the Pixar realm, like I don't necessarily want to see a representation of Sid from Toy Story.
Or I started to say Hug-a-Lots, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's there, like the stuffed animal and the...
Right, but keep them out of what will be Magic Kingdom Villains Land. And I think that's what they're going to do, you know? And
I
the,
hope.
the artwork looked like we're going to get some sort of coaster from the concept art. And it looks like we might get a potential dark ride,
I just
indoor
started to
dark
say,
ride.
I would want a dark ride,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I mean, a villain's coaster, I hope that happens. I think a dark ride. What story or what would you want okay, here's a question kind of go off of what I think she's asking some is, you know, do you want the rides to be of an individual villain's story? Or do you want this whole park to feel like a mashup? Because that's a good, like, do you want this to turn into, what is it called in Descendants? The Lost Island? Is that what they call where they banished all the...
Yeah.
Do we want that? Or do we want it broken where you go into one section, which is specifically a Maleficent coaster with Maleficent's castle in the distance, the way they do Rapunzel's tower. But then next to that is another almost mini land within the larger land. Or do you want to see a, you know, big collaboration of them all, a little bit the way that Fantasyland is done, where it's almost like this is what it would be like if all the villains lived in one land.
Yeah.
And out of that, they could actually create new stories.
Correct.
Which would be interesting to see if they'll create any new story. I don't think they will, unfortunately. I mean, I just think they're going to go off of old stories. I don't know that they're going to create new ones.
I don't know.
First of all, we got to see what we're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, we know that it's 100% happening, but at what scope
Right.
will we see? You know, there's obviously going to be changes. So I do think that that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'd say as far as the unnecessary, I would say those Pixar, those, you know, anything that really isn't true Walt Disney animation.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to see Dr. Facilier.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, even if it's just a meet and greet for that one.
Yeah.
All right, from Allison, we are going to Copper Creek next summer, and I want to plan something extra special as a surprise for my two kids. They're 18 and 16.
Oh.
What is your favorite extra experience? Thinking something like fireworks cruise or nighttime safari.
16, is that Keys to the Kingdom?
I can't remember if cutoff for Keys to the Kingdom is
it's
16 or
16.
18. I believe it is 16.
I think it's 16. I would say Keys to the Kingdom.
I would 100% recommend Keys to the Kingdom.
Absolutely.
Yeah, assuming that it is that 16.
Yeah. I think it is because I thought 18 and then
Yeah, when we went recently, she said 16.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure.
Yeah, and if you know, that obviously is an early morning activity that takes
Yeah.
up a big chunk of your day. It's going to take up a good 6 to 7 hours total of not only the tour but then getting to and from Magic and all that. I think the fireworks cruise is unbelievable, and you can actually take one of those from Wilderness Lodge since she's going to be at Copper Creek.
That's
and
true.
you can do a happily ever after fireworks cruise. It's a big pontoon boat. It's actually super affordable. We've done one before. They provide all kinds of snacks and non-alcoholic beverages. You can pretty much bring what you want on there. They're very cool about that. Our guide was incredible. Not only, it's not like you get on a boat and go, all right, fireworks are starting in 15 minutes. Let's get there. Let's watch them, and then let's go back.
Right.
You take a journey to get over to dock, to watch the fireworks. And the whole time they're telling you trivia. You're talking with your cast member and your guide and all, and the captain. And then it's really kind of like the same way back. So it is like a full experience. It's not, and they play Happily Ever After on the boat radio. And what's amazing is you'll be out there, and it's actually cool if you're one of the boats a little bit further back, like we were, because you can look and you see all these other boats that are docked, and you can hear it coming from their radios as well. So it's really like this whole little happily ever after party right there on the lake, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I would do that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Again, if you don't want to do that early morning, take a big chunk of your day
I'm trying
type
to think
thing,
what else.
I think that could really work.
I would probably look at maybe a dessert party too, 18 and 16.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun.
Could be fun.
Do one of those. And,
Yeah.
and for that one, I would actually probably do one of the ones over at Epcot.
Yeah.
Because I think that just makes Luminous better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Happily Ever After doesn't need any help
Correct.
being better. Like, I don't think you need priority seating with desserts to enjoy Happily Ever After. You kind of need it with Luminous. So, all right, let's do one more here from the room, and then we're going to make our way to Disney Springs. This one comes from Sammy. It says, if you had a time machine and could live a Disney first again, which one would you want to go back to? Would you change anything or keep it just the same and just like relive it? So a Disney first, what would yours be?
I'm almost tearing up because I feel like I always go back to Kaylin meeting Mickey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we tell that story a lot, and that's
so good.
Yeah, that would be so cool. And here's the thing, because I actually think about this a lot sometimes. There'd be a difference between going back and reliving it in the sense of what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I think those are two separate things, as opposed to going back and reliving it for the first time where you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So would that be the same memory? One is going back and reliving a memory, like almost like I think of it as like you being in the room, like you see like on A Christmas Story when they're in the room as ghosts, but nobody can see them, right?
Right.
So
And
would you want to be a
watching-
fly on the wall watching that moment again, knowing what you know? Or something else? And then what moment would you want to relive again for the first time where you have no knowledge? You don't even know that Kaylin's going to run up and kiss Mickey on the nose, and our parents and us are going to be crying and like, you know what I mean? Like, so I think there's kind of a difference.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
Like I would want to do. I would want to do as far as like a Disney parks that I would want to relive again. No, actually, I think I'd want to do for the first time, so I'd have no knowledge. It's probably the opening of Galaxy's Edge.
I thought you were going to say that. Yep.
Because that was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was so exciting and like trying to get ready. I mean, we're 2-something a.m. I was up putting makeup on.
And we were in line, and I mean, that was one that I would want to do again for the first time, not knowing anything. I've thought of this recently, especially as of Wednesday night, because of the movie I put on. Out of all things, I think Disney, parks, movies, everything, one thing I wish that I could relive again, having never seen before, is Endgame, when Captain finally wields Mjolnir.
Yeah.
It's my favorite movie moment ever. It's my favorite theater moment ever, and it's one of my top 5 Disney moments ever. Like that one, I would want to relive over and over and over again. Like I wish every time I watched Infinity War and Endgame, I wish I could watch them. I wish I could do Men in Black clicky thing. That would only erase those movies from my mind, and I would watch them every day of my life.
That's crazy.
Back to back.
Okay.
All right. We will move on to the next set of questions from somewhere else that we will let you know when we get there.
All right.
Did you leave your phone in the room?
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Oh, is it at the end of the bed? That's where I said, here, sweetie, here's your phone. All right. Well, it's a good thing I just said let's record on the walk down.
Yeah.
All right, we're on our way to Disney Springs to check out Jock Lindsay's new menu. Meet back up with our buddy Steve. So, knock out a few more questions on our way down. All right, next up, Rhonda from Emily. We have our very first Merry Christmas party scheduled for November 12th. What are some party do's and don'ts?
Well, first of all, I would say, well, it depends on kids, I feel like, for sure, and the ages, and if you have them and what, but
Of course.
I would say now they wrap the cookies up where you can get them multiple ones and different kinds and keep them, and the free hot chocolate, but I really wouldn't, like, that's almost more of a don't to me. I mean, definite do is see the party.
Yeah.
You know, see the
parade,
the stage show. Maybe even try some characters. What do you think?
No, I mean, I agree. Kind of the same thing we say for the Halloween party with the trick-or-treating. It's, to me, I don't want to spend, $150 to $200 for a person just to go trick-or-treating and get candy.
Right.
But when you got younger kids, a lot of times that's what they want to do. So yeah, I do agree with maybe, don't worry about stopping by every treat station, getting those cookies, that hot chocolate. I do make sure you have that plan to catch the fireworks, the parade, the Cashville stage show. And, we do the same thing for the Halloween party where you can usually line up, get a spot around the hub, and catch all three of those without having to move.
Yep.
I would, on a do, try some of the specialty purchased treats, the paid treats that they have.
100%.
That are exclusive to the party only. And then one final do, I would say, is get very festive and dress up.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not a costume like Halloween,
but you never know. It could be cold and you might really need it.
Get your ugly Christmas sweaters, get your Disney themed light up necklaces, get your hats, just go all out.
Now I'm
and just have
excited
fun.
for the party.
I know, we're going December 5th. So yeah, Emily, you might have to give us a few pointers because we have not been actually to the Christmas party in several years.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. Let's move on and check the next question. This one comes from Horatio. Said, if you could be a cast member on any attraction at Disney World, which attraction would it be and why? So I like that specific to attractions. You would do Haunted?
I think so. I want to say that because I don't have to smile. I know.
I don't think you could pull off Tower of Terror or Haunted Mansion. I could. I think. I would just, I would just be me. And I think I could pull it off, but you're too nice.
Oh. Let's see then. Something fun.
I think Rise of Resistance would be another fun one.
Yeah,
being in
not for me,
the First Order, the one where you get to interrogate but I'm trying to think of one that would be really good for you. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Yeah.
You'd be good in that one. Really any of them, I think. That you could have good facing interaction.
Yeah.
Although, no offense to you, babe, probably shouldn't be in one that has a lot of counting. Like where you got to say what your party is and then put them on. Yeah. I couldn't do that either. I don't think I could work one of those.
Yeah.
The Haunted Mansion, obviously, 2 people
Watch your step,
or 2 and a kid, but anything that would take counting, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's way too confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree on that. And I don't know, like I think of Under the Sea, Little Mermaid.
Oh, that would be fun
like
for
that.
You. Yeah. Would you want to do one of those, since you're talking about Under the Sea, Haunted Mansion? Would you want to do one of those that's going to put you at the exit where you have to walk on the moving conveyor belt for your whole shift?
Oh, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I kind of think that'd be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, you're not technically standing in one space.
Correct.
You're staying in one, but you're not standing in one. So, at least you get to be on the move.
Correct. So now we're walking around Disney Springs.
It's pretty busy today.
It's very busy. There's a lot of entertainment going on.
Yeah.
Candy Cauldron's back open. slushy.
Yes, I guess that's what they were doing. Part of their urban renovation was adding all kinds of different flavored slushies.
You can get alcohol in them.
Yeah, with or without.
Quite a few. Whiskey, like.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a good selection in there.
I think
And like $13.50.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad price for that.
No.
All right, back to our questioning from Sarah. It said, what's your favorite breakfast at Epcot? So I'm going to go Garden Grill.
I just started to say Garden Grill.
Yeah.
Because we really haven't eaten much other breakfast from Epcot, I feel like.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Garden Grill is absolutely incredible. The food is great. The character interactions are great. It's got some different things from your standard Disney breakfast. I mean, you're going to get your waffles and your eggs and your meats and stuff, but they have the steak with the chimichurri, the flank
So
steak,
good.
that like sets it apart. Another really good breakfast option in the Epcot area would be to go over to Ale and Compass.
Okay.
And they have that, you get an entree, and then you can actually, there's an option where you can get a buffet and an entree. And it's the most affordable thing you can get on property.
That's right.
And so you order a main entree, like you get your eggs Benedict, and then you pay, so this whole thing might be like, I don't know, 25 bucks. Again, I'm not looking at a menu. But for that 25 bucks, not only do you get your entree, you get access to this kind of buffet that is more of like a continental breakfast buffet.
Right.
But it's got like all the meats and cheeses and pastries, and I think, you know, there might be grits up there and oatmeal, and so it's pretty good. And then, if you are big into princesses, you could do Akershus for breakfast.
And that's good.
Which we really, really enjoy.
We did.
Yeah. I just think normally, if you're looking for something maybe for the whole family, Garden Grill with the characters that it has, being what, Mickey, Pluto, Chip and Dale.
Yes.
It's just, you know, a little bit more for everyone, I would say there.
I agree.
All right. Shannon says, if you could open a new resort at Disney, like what level would it be? Would you want value, moderate, deluxe? Then if it was going to be IP based, what would it be? And then if it was not going to be IP based, what would it be?
That's a really good question.
Yeah. What levels? Let's start. I mean, like, I not a deluxe, please.
Oh, I started to say deluxe because I would, you know what, maybe not. Maybe more of like a value and go with a Villains Land situation and do a Villains theme where they're larger than life, because that's kind of can be scary.
Yeah, the way that movies is done.
Yeah.
All-star movies right now.
Yep.
And do a value. Maybe they could do their,
Maybe it could be a moderate meets a value where the value characters are there.
Yeah, value plus. What we consider Grand Destino and Coronado to be is a moderate plus.
Like this dog.
Is that a Pomeranian? That's adorable. You know what I mean? So maybe it'd be, I definitely want something just on that level because it's going to be more affordable, obviously.
Right.
I love your villains idea for the theme. I still want a Hollywood, this would be a deluxe, I still want a Hollywood Tower Hotel resort.
No.
Like pre-Lightning Strike,
that'd be
pre-Tower of Terror, you know.
Literally like the 1920s.
Like, 1920s, like glitz and glamour, deluxe hotel, high-rise hotel, ballrooms, all that kind of stuff. And then I guess I would say if you were non-IP based, you know, there are original plans for a Persian hotel over by the Poly, and there still is land there to build one. I think a Persian hotel would be pretty cool.
Pretty interesting.
Other than that, maybe something like a rainforest cafe, T-Rex resort type of thing. You know what I mean? I know technically that'd almost be like an IP, but not really. Just almost something that is more like a adventure hotel, right?
Okay.
That's based all around adventure.
Yeah.
You know, you could even go back.
Pirates, because there was the Pirates Room at Caribbean.
Yeah, you could do an entire Pirates hotel, or theme it. You could almost do like an Adventureland hotel. So you might have a Jungle Cruise section, you might have a Pirates section. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you could have technically an Aladdin area, and you could break it up that way. Would be pretty cool. Yeah, maybe something like that. Again, something I feel like on the, like you're saying, the bigger than life stuff is just so great for the families. And if you can put it at that more affordable value and make it like a value plus.
Yeah.
You know, like the level that a Cabana Bay feels like over there. And heck, they you know, reorganized their hotels because of how good some of them are. So I would really love that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so now we are back in our room. Sorry if there was some background crazy noise, but now we're nice and
Yeah, back in a nice
snug
quiet room.
in a bug, as a bug in a rug.
Yeah, we did. One of the things you'll hear upcoming, that dining review episode, we did go to Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar and try a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yes.
So we'll talk all about that. But let's get back to the questions.
Okay.
From I guess it'd still be a childhood, one of my childhood into, more teenage friends, Michelle, said, with the success of Inside Out 2, do you think Disney World will get an Inside Out ride? If so, will it be the same one as over at Disneyland or something different? Which park would it be in? I mean, I still think that Imagination Pavilion and Figment ride being changed into an Inside Out ride makes the most sense.
Yes.
You know,
I agree.
And you could even turn that whole thing into like an Inside Out area, take the Pixar Film Fest, turn that into some sort of 4D Inside Out film, right? That you can go and experience. Then you go experience
Absolutely.
whatever the ride may be. You know, they have this new Disney Plus show. I don't think it's come out yet. That's coming out. That is about the studio that produces Riley's Dreams.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me that.
I mean, that might be a perfect vehicle for Figment. So to go in a direction like that, where you're going through kind of the studio that, you know, gives Riley these dreams and everything.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't know if they'll do it is because I just don't think they want to lose Figment from the park in an attraction. You know, you could still keep the meet and greet, but they still rely heavily on merchandising with Figment for food and wine, most specifically.
That's true.
But we have Orange Bird, doesn't have any representation.
Spike
We've got
the
Spike the
Bee.
Bee, right? So
him.
not all the festival mascots have to have something.
Yeah.
What would you want to see? I mean, do you think that's where something like that would go? Is there another? I don't know that it would fit in another park, even though a lot of the parks are going away from their original overall nature.
The only thing I could see, but I don't know if it's too old, is over in the Junior Play Pavilion.
Over at Hollywood Studios.
Yes. Because I think of like, that's the only thing I'm just trying to think of, like that.
Some sort of Inside Out show or something there.
Sort of something.
Which.
And she was asking because it's in Disneyland, right?
Yeah, they have that's the emotional twirl thing. I can't remember the exact name of it.
I think there's one of two things. I think, yes, they can copycat it and totally do it because they have done that with Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And then they copycatted Tron from overseas. So, yes, I think they can, but I think I like how they're also doing new things and giving us different things, so then you do want to visit more parks. So, that to me, they could go either way.
Yeah, and that would, I mean, really that would fit if that's where Monstropolis goes.
Yeah.
You know, which it's going to go there. Come on.
Okay.
You could have an Inside Out type of thing there as well, which would fit in and move, you know, that whole animated area. That could be pretty cool. All right. Lisa asks, if you've done the Halio Experience tasting menu, what's your overall opinion? If not, you should definitely do it. My husband and I just did it this past weekend, and it was awesome.
The what?
We have not done the tasting experience. We did the
Halo?
rapid lunch at Haleo.
Oh,
Yeah.
Haleo. I thought you said Halo.
No.
I was like,
No.
what?
We do want to do that, very much so.
Yeah.
We've dined at Haleo several times now.
We've enjoyed all of it.
Everything.
My favorite so far is the potatoes.
Bravos.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. We
So good.
the experience is on our list. We definitely would be doing it at some point. But until we do it, we will stop at Haleo a lot and always get something to eat and drink there because it's like one of our new go-tos. And one of our really good cast member friends is now over there.
Yeah.
So even more reason to pop in and see him over there. All right, Brian said, the one Disney song you would karaoke with and the one Disney song you wish nobody would ever do because you just have secondhand embarrassment or just protect your ears. What's one Disney karaoke song you would do? Did you think you would be good? Yeah. That you could
that
sing
I'd be
to?
good?
Well, I mean, that you would do. I guess you don't have to be good, but you don't. He's saying, you know, you don't want to embarrass yourself or anyone, secondhand embarrass anyone else or hurt anybody's ears. So you probably should be semi-good.
Okay. Well, I would say any song from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I feel like.
You do any of those?
Yeah.
What's one you think pretty much no one should ever do?
It's a Small World.
That's
for
Just because you don't want to hear it.
yeah, and Kaylin. Like I kind of sing it just to mess with her.
Yeah.
But then no, I was kidding about that one.
I mean, for the most part, just leave Let It Go or Into the Unknown off the table because most people are going to embarrass themselves trying to do it.
Oh, unless you're like Olaf.
What? Oh, yeah, you're going to...
When he does it?
Oh, so you... Actually, that would be, if you're going to do it, then you are doing an impersonation of Olaf doing karaoke of Into the Unknown.
There you go.
That one I would say yes. Yeah, I don't think anybody should try and touch those.
No.
If I was doing karaoke, I would do probably You're Welcome from Moana.
I could see that.
Or any of Lin-Manuel's parts from the newest Mary Poppins. The patter songs.
Okay.
Something I learned in theater. It's called a patter song.
Oh.
Would be those type of rhythmic songs because I've been watching Only Murders in the Building, which is amazing.
My goodness,
it is absolutely
you're
amazing.
Funny.
It is a masterclass in everything that has to do with TV or film. It's unbelievable. And yeah, Martin Short and Steve Martin and Selena Gomez are like amazing, just amazing. So they're doing a Broadway play in the 3rd season, and they give Steve Martin's
I saw
patter
some
song.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now it's a really good song. But anyway, those are the types because I could handle those because I can't sing. But those are rhythmic, more like almost a rap.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And you're very good at that.
Yeah.
I would just want to sing in karaoke. I would not be good.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't care if I embarrassed myself.
You wouldn't care if you embarrassed yourself? So what you're saying is
I wouldn't sing Into the Unknown, though.
So we'll do some sort of Main Street Magic gathering.
No.
Maybe at the next Main Street 16, we will have a karaoke contest in which Rhonda will host and sing.
No,
I'd
let Allie do that. Allie's got a very good
singer.
voice. Yes.
Yep. So we'll let her fill in for your singing voice.
Yeah.
But you could almost lip sync it like like in Aladdin, Aladdin has again you have different actors that play the part and do the singing voice. That was just the first one that came to mind because I always think of Steve from Full House. And at first when I found out he was Aladdin, I was like, dang, he can really sing. And then you find out he's not the singing voice type of thing. But, yeah. So, all right. We're going to probably take another break because I got to get ready for my start of my conference. But we will finish out this episode through the weekend. And then we hope you enjoy it.
Yes. Okay, so we are going to finish up this round of questions. And then our next one will come out on Friday.
Yeah, so we got 3 more to go through, but before we get into that, you were in a Disney park by yourself for a little bit today, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
How was that?
It's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah?
Like
you quickly made sure you met up with friends.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing. Like I felt like I was shaking. Like I was like, I just, this is.
Did you not know what to do with yourself?
I didn't. Yeah, my anxiety. There was just a lot, and I was super happy. I was meeting up with friends. I met up with Steve, Tay and Steph, and Jana, and Steve's friend Babs, which she's super cool. So I really enjoyed hanging out. So there were 6 of us, so it was great.
Awesome. All right, let's get back into the questions. From Kelsey, said, if you had to live in only one of the parks for a whole year and you couldn't leave, which one would it be and why?
I think
this is kind of an extension. Well, it's kind of an
this.
extension from our 700th episode, but ours was based on a specific attraction. Like if you had to live in an attraction, and then we kind of ended up being like talking about lands and parks and stuff. But yeah, for a park as a whole, and you got to factor in where are you going to like sleep and stuff. You got to factor in the food and the dining locations that are available to you and like what you would want to eat for a full year. Like, all that type of stuff. Like we were saying then, okay, do you then just say you work in that park?
Yeah,
you
and
also
I
get
think
to sleep in it, right?
Right, and you can work a different job once a week or however, like, or you can try something new once a week, and then if you don't like that, I feel like you could move on.
Yeah, because then I think ours was Magic Kingdom because you have the castle suite in Cinderella Castle. So that right there, as far as like lodging goes, but if you couldn't have that, then
like Epcot.
Yeah, something like Epcot then, right? Is where you want to spend. I mean, because I like that because then when you're thinking about having to live somewhere for a year in the cuisines, it'd just be like at home. You could just be like, well, tonight I want American and a burger or something, or tonight I want, Chinese food, or I want, a steak, or there, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any sort of bedding that pops up in the American Adventure during that show. Maybe you could do that. Just turn it on at night to that one only scene. Then you'd be sleeping with a bunch of animatronics, though. That would be creepy. Wake up in the middle of the night, Ben Franklin's just standing by your bed staring at you. Asking you what you've done with your life. I don't know where you would have to sleep there, because I feel like you'd have to set up some sort of camp. Like, I mean, really, in the castle suite, or, another good one for Magic Kingdom would actually be Carousel of Progress. Mm-hmm. That you could actually, like, stay overnight in, potentially. But yeah, like, Magic Kingdom and the castle suite's the only thing it's made for actual, like, lodging.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get pretty creative at any other park. Maybe you could set up a tent or something and living with the land. Yeah. And live in the land. Like, literally live with the land for a year.
Oh, that'd be a lot.
Yeah, just don't.
I don't know. I think I'd want a real bed. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Just camp in the car in the parking lot.
That'd be too hot.
Imagine doing that for a year?
No, you could not in Florida.
But see, that's a hard part, because then you have to think. Okay, we're here at the Hilton Orlando right now. I mean, not specifically maybe this hotel. Could you live in a hotel room for a year? The same hotel room for 1 year. That was just a hotel room like this. So again, even thinking, you think, the castle suite would be so cool. It's not big.
No. It's a bed and a bathroom.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean,
and like a foyer, I think, that you come into, like when you get off the little elevator area. Could you even live in? So maybe that's another one where World Showcase, you could just go from country to country to find different areas.
Lodging.
Different lodging. But that would be hard. I mean, to think about just living in a space like this. I mean, essentially a dorm room for a year at our age. I mean, you had to do it.
Right.
I did it for
a
very short period of time. You didn't do it at all. But yeah, you lived in a room half the size of this one we're in. Mm-hmm. But, thinking about doing that at our age for a full year, the castle suite's the only one I think that you could even handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. From Cassidy, if you could change the name of any of the parks, what parks would you change? What would you change it to? And what do you dislike about the name, if anything? Hollywood Studios needs to be renamed in every aspect. I mean, there's no need to keep studios on it. You could somehow keep in the Hollywood name, but, when it was MGM Studios, it was also a working studio.
Right.
But not only was it a working studio, all the attractions were showing you what a working studio or backlot or whatever looked like.
Right.
The only thing that is left for that really would be Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular.
Right, which is super cool.
Yeah, and technically the outdoor queue portion of Star Tours, because the AT-AT that's there does not have a backside, because it's technically supposed to be part of a movie set. So, you know what I mean? So that technically still plays into it. Okay. And then, of course, you got Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard and some of that. But, yeah, Hollywood Studios needs a completely different name.
What would you change it to?
I don't know. Because now, they're putting you in the movies.
Right.
I mean, technically, Epcot needs a name change.
Because it is...
It's no longer the experimental prototype community of tomorrow.
Correct.
So it technically needs a change. The only two that really fit is Magic Kingdom. And you could change that to anything and it works, but Magic Kingdom is perfect, and Animal Kingdom.
Right.
But even look at Animal Kingdom, when they put in Indiana Jones, where they put in this whole South America, Indiana Jones, Encanto, and all of those, if they don't have major influences of animals included in them, then we're starting to get away from the animal and Animal Kingdom even. You can say what you want about having banshees and all the stuff and sprites and everything that's over in Pandora, but they're not the animals that Animal Kingdom was based on. I mean, the original Animal Kingdom was going to have Beastly Kingdom portion, which would have been unicorns and dragons and, stuff that doesn't truly exist, except in your dreams. But yeah, so Epcot needs a name change, but I don't know what I would change it to. I would almost just need, because they're trying to do this whole neighborhood thing with the different sections. Yeah, like the World Nature and, are these like neighborhoods.
You could call it something. I feel like it could be called World something like.
It could, yeah. World would probably be in the name. I mean, it would World Park. I don't even know. World. Disney loves putting adventure
World
and stuff. No, could be when World Adventure Park or something. I don't know. Adventure World Park. Yeah, there you go. But then that doesn't really explain it.
Right.
So that's the hard part. Like, what does Epcot currently represent as a whole now?
The world.
Yeah, it does.
Just the world.
Right.
So instead of Epcot, World.
Yeah, it's just called World.
Magic.
But they could come up with another
World.
They could come up for each letter to still stand for something the way that Epcot does.
Like World, WORLD.
Yeah, if you're doing the full, make each letter stand for actual something that makes the full whatever it is. I'm not doing that right now. But yeah, and then I don't know what I would do with Hollywood Studios. Just you got to take studios out of it, because the whole point there now is putting you into the movies.
Right.
And that still even fits with Star Tours Q and with things like Stunt Spectacular. I mean, that still fits you in the movie.
Yeah.
It might be from a different aspect than the way that they're trying to do it on Rise of the Resistance or Smuggler's Run, or all of Toy Story Land and stuff. And off the top of my head, I cannot remember all the names that were being bounced around a couple years ago when it was rumored that they were definitely changing the name.
Really?
To Hollywood Studios to something else. I can't remember. There was a whole list of names, but yeah, I think those two. But at the same time, you got to figure, and Disney knows that Hollywood Studios is already on its second name, and most people that went as a child still call it MGM Studios.
Correct.
There's no way they're ever going to change the name of Epcot, nor should they, because that was Walt's vision, even if that's not what it currently is.
Correct.
And then if you just think about remarketing all of those types of things, that's why I think they're just comfortable going, look, it's just going to stay Hollywood Studios. It was MGM after actual MGM Studios. Right. And once that went away, it was just Hollywood, and they think that just is going to cover them forever. If anything, maybe they would drop the studios. But then it would just be Disney's Hollywood Park, basically.
Okay.
Or you go after something.
Well,
or you do.
Epcot. Epcot's one word.
Yeah.
You got Epcot could be one word. Studios could be one word, whether it be Hollywood or Studios. And then you have Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. There, we solved their problem for them. All right. This next question comes from Bale Ann. It is, how would you describe WDW to someone who has never heard of it? That's a good one. What would be your quick, elevator pitch description? As I'm here at Momentum Weekend, we did something today on sales and elevator pitches and stuff like that. But
WDW.
Yeah, you have a client that sit down in their chair and they're like, so I hear that you're all about this Disney World place. I don't even know what it is. What's Disney World?
Well, Disney World is a place where you can go. There are 4 parks, 4 different parks you can go to, 2 water parks, and it is a fun amusement park. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
What?
I don't know. You're going to get hired by marketing.
No, I'm not. No, I was never good at that.
Yeah,
First of all, I'd be like,
it's the most magical place on earth.
Yeah, I started to say, first of all, I'd be like, wait, you don't know about Disney World?
Yeah, first you would question what rock have they been living under, but...
And I live under a rock.
No, for me, really, and that's not even really the question, it's not even like...
What would yours be,
I really
seriously,
don't even,
besides the most magical place on earth?
I would want to focus on everything that isn't in their marketing. When you see a Disney commercial, I love the Disney commercials that they're doing now where they went around the U.S., one of the ambassadors went around the U.S. and they literally walked up to strangers on the street and said, do you have a Disney memory on your phone?
Yeah.
And they pulled them out. And what I loved about that is, when you watch the normal Disney commercials, it is very much about the rides. Of course it is. And the attractions, and the characters, and the shows, and the fireworks, and the pools, and all of that stuff. But to be able to tell people, it's got some of the best dining around, like that can be a focus about things. The fact that it's not just for kids, it's not just for families, is one of the things. And just kind of explain to people, everything about Disney and what keeps bringing us back all the time that isn't just that standard in-your-face TV commercial, 30 seconds, a little girl holding Elsa's hand walking through the lobby of Grand Floridian.
Right.
Right, because that's what everybody thinks that, Disney World is if they haven't heard of it or anything about it.
Right.
So that would be my thing, just telling people all the other amazing things. Like, I'm trying to think. I know we rode stuff on, Friday, a couple rides. Thursday. We didn't do any rides yesterday, did we? And then, of course, I didn't today because I was in a conference all day.
Yesterday
you went
was
to
Friday.
Animal Kingdom.
But
but there's times there's literally times we've come and stayed here for 3 nights and we haven't ridden a single ride.
Yeah.
And that's almost where I would want to lead because people know about the rides. They know all about that. So you go to someone and you go, I once went to Disney, my wife and I, for 3 nights, and we didn't ride a single ride. You'd be like, well, what did you do? And then you start telling them about dining and shopping and maybe some of the, shows that people overlook, like the American Adventure or Philhar Magic or Muppets 3D or something like that.
Or the Nemo one that I watched today.
You saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, let's on here then give your, I know you'll tell me more about everything tonight when we go to dinner and all, but I have not seen the new one.
Oh.
The updated one.
Yeah.
You now have. What did you think?
Well, I almost fell asleep.
Did you? Well,
but that's not
okay. You can't lead with that because
I was tired.
we could be talking about lights, motor, action, and you could have been like, "Well, I almost fell asleep."
Yeah.
So that's that. You shouldn't
everybody
lead
knows
with
me.
that. Yes, everybody knows that you sleep a lot.
And even Tay and her staff was like the calming, the blue, this music before. It was cool. Unfortunately, it was hot out there. We did get wet a little bit. And yeah, she started yawning. And then even Tay was like, "Dang man, you're making me yawn." So it's except for the benches, which they should have replaced.
I know.
Maybe that's why they don't replace them because they don't want you sleeping.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's nice, calming, and really nice. I liked it. I told Jana that I liked this because it was a story of Nemo and everything, and how they all became friends. All the tank people. Yeah. So it was cool. It was cute. It was very Finding Nemo-ish like before. Yeah. But I feel like
they just made some of the updates, I think, to streamline it a little bit. Because I don't think it's as long as the old. The old one was like 30 minutes or something. I
think this was almost 30 minutes.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. Maybe they did not shorten it by too much, but
it just told a story and it was super cute and I enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, you'll have to take me to see it sometime then.
Okay.
We'll go and see it. Well, that'll be it for this Q&A episode here on the road from all kinds of places. Next one will actually be coming to you from Fort Wilderness in our next car camping adventure. So if your question did not get read on today's episode, obviously it did not get answered, we will on the next one. Of course, if you want that, you're going to have to hit subscribe and you get the brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And of course, if you're out there on the internet, you're checking out iTunes, could you please leave us a rating and review?
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.